Today, we are going to build a rainwater collection system. And it all starts with a barrel. Here I have two 55-gallon drums, so 110 gallons total. I got these from a scrapyard for 18 bucks a piece. You can also buy urns that look way cooler, but they're weaker and they're more expensive. Their walls are so thin that you can't tap them, and it's really convenient to drill and tap for your fittings. So I like to get these recycled HDPE drums. They're food grade. These ones held olives or soy sauce, that kind of thing. So there are a lot of nuances here and a lot of parts, and I can't spend an hour going through this. So instead, I've put this system into drawings and a bill of materials that you can have for free. It's linked in the description below. So first we'll talk about the barrels, then the frame, then the plumbing. I've had a rainwater collection system growing up and it was useful, and I've installed them at a number of gardens and they've been useful there too. So think about if it rains a 1/4 inch on your 1,000 square foot roof. That's about 155 gallons or 3 of these blue barrels. And that water can be used for watering plants, watering chickens, rinsing flower pots. The main features of the barrel system are the inlet, the outlets, which are valves, you can open and close them. These are just standard garden hose spigots. The connection between barrels, these are connected in parallel because as the water comes in, they're connected at the bottom, so they both fill up in parallel at the same time. If I had connected them at the top, they'd be connected in series, meaning that this one would fill up before this one even starts filling up. And finally, there's the overflow, another outlet at the top of the barrel, so that once these are full, you can direct the overflow away from your foundation. As you machine your barrels, the inlet and overflow must be close to the top, and the overflow must be above where the barrels are connected. For the outlet spigots, they should be as close to the bottom of the barrel as possible so that you can maximize how much water you can extract, but they can't be all the way at the bottom because you want to avoid the sediment that collects at the bottom, and depending on how tall the lip of your frame is, you need to avoid that as well. For my connections, I use Teflon tape and a silicone sealant. Besides the inlet, for all fitting connections, I've drilled with a 7/8 inch spade bit and then tapped with a 3/4 inch NPT tap. The nice thing about 3/4 inch NPT is that there are a lot of fittings out there that connect 3/4 inch NPT with 3/4 inch GHT, which is just your standard garden hose thread. Now, when it comes to the frame, you want your barrels to be as high as possible while maintaining a secure, stable, safe system that is under your roof, of course. For sizing this frame, there's a video linked in the description. For now, I just want to say keep in mind the pressure that comes out of your spigots is going to be the density of water times the height to the centroid of the volume of water inside the barrel multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity. Now, the main features of the plumbing system are, of course, the downspout diverter. So you're diverting the flow from your downspout, from your gutter system. Then you have a first flush filter. The filthiness of the water from your roof with bird poo and the toppings from asphalt shingles becomes exponentially cleaner as the water flushes off your roof. And so the first flush filter collects that first flush, that first volume of the worst water that comes down from the roof. And so in this case, I have a ball in here. It's a float valve. And so as the water comes in, it first fills up this first flush filter. And as the water rises, the ball rises up and seals off the valve. And then the cleaner water bypasses this little tube right here and goes into the barrels. Meanwhile, there's a bleeder down here that constantly releases a small flow rate from the downspout diverter so it empties itself, and I don't have to empty it every time between rainstorms. Make sure the bleeder flow rate isn't too low, or when it freezes, the water inside the filter will expand and permanently press the float or the sealing ball into the float seat or the ball seat like this. And then when I want to get rid of the sediment in here, I can unscrew this bottom fitting and just get rid of all that crap. Moving on from the first flush filter, we just traverse to our barrel inlet. I have a secondary screen filter just to get any kind of particulate that did not make it into the first flush filter. And then it goes into the barrel. And so this is not sufficient filtration for potable water, but it is sufficient for my purposes. Here the piping system is shown with the downspout diversion 90 degrees at the corner of the house to the barrel. Here's another example where the downspout diversion and the barrels are happening at the same side of the house. So thank you for your time. I just wanted to share those tips. There's lots of videos on YouTube for other details on how to make these things, but if you want me to cover anything in greater detail, just let me know. Okay, back to the office.